we get to the coffee shop and we having coffee. She's like, I just can't stop looking at his hair. It's just so bad. And I'm like, of course. Right. Of course now.
The not sitting there, I don't even know if that, it's cultural, of course.
Yeah, it's cultural.
It's cultural, of course, but it's also like, Connie went to all private schools. They wear uniforms every day. You know what I mean? She went to school with a lot of white kids and blah, blah. So, like, her fashion sense and that kind of stuff is non-existent.
Oh, my God.
It's non-existent.
Oh,
so,
my God.
I pick the kids' clothes out every day.
God.
Kendrick picks his own out because he got a nice little swag.
He be suited,
oh
yeah.
My God.
But Connie be like, I'll be like, where y'all going? Keelan yesterday, nigga. When I be picking on days I don't pick out his clothes. When I pick him up from school, I be like, whose idea was this?
Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother.
The only thing that's like different about the show, because we try to keep it as authentic as possible, is we say bitch way more in real life. That's the only thing we kind of feel. We like don't say bitch as much on the show than we do. We say bitch a lot in real life.
I thought about that. I was on stage last night, and after we do the way Paul and Matt Rice's show works, after you do your set, they come back on stage and you do like a Q&A. And I like pan to the audience. I was like, ladies, by the way, I don't normally talk like this. It was just in context.
I said, bitch, this bitch.
I say bitch so much it's just the guys, but in front of women, I do not be saying that shit.
Yeah. And when women are gonna listen, like we really tone it down. Yeah. But we said, but it's not even.
But because what happened was right before we hit record, I got a message. I was like, this bitch.
This bitch.
Gooey bitch.
Oh, man.
And it wasn't Cotty.
It was some other bitch. Oh, man.
I be getting the dumbest messages from like strangers. I'm like, dumbass. Like, just goofy shit, man. You didn't talk about, yes, we're in the same clothes because we're shooting the same day. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Last week when we was talking?
You didn't talk about your proposal at all, though.
Why I proposed? Okay, so when you're talking about be a wife now and don't become a wife when you are actually a wife.
Yeah.
Like, be a wife now so I can know what I'm getting into, so I can see the full picture of like what to expect. So I've always been like, I need to know everything, and I was always reluctant at the idea of marriage because like I was like, I need to know who this person is, and to me, I don't know. I have no idea who you are. And it's also changed through the years, but I don't know who you are until we go through conflict together. I need to know how you deal with conflict. I need to know how you argue, all the shit, and that has escalated. And after like once having a kid, you really don't you don't know your person until you move together. You really don't know your person until you have a kid together.
Yeah.
Because she takes on, her DNA changes. She becomes almost she becomes a mother. So I proposed because I felt like legally, the legal perks of it, but also changed my views of like what marriage is. Before, to me, it was like it has to be like a forever thing, a forever contract. But now I'm like, it's a part of the life experience.
Yeah.
It's like something that I wanted to experience in this life. And to say that I at least did it or at least tried it. So if it fails, I can still be thankful and appreciative that I took the chance. And I felt like our relationship deserved that. And I felt like our son deserved that.
Yeah.
To be in a more traditional, nuclear family structure. Whether or not it works, I don't know.
Right.
But I at least wanted to make the attempt. And there's nothing wrong with like the attempt. So that's what I did.
And people are gonna get mad even at what you just said right now, like traditional family. I feel like the only people get mad at traditional families, the ones who didn't have it or don't have it right now.
Yeah.
Like when I see people talk about that on social media, single moms be highly offended, and it's like, at the end of the day, the reason why you don't make babies by yourself, because you need to do, I mean, you don't need it. You can adapt. If something, God forbid, something happened to Cody, I can adapt and yes, raise these kids by myself. Is that what I want? Fuck no.
Yeah.
Why would I want that? When one, you're taking two different people who come from two different backgrounds, who come from two different experiences, who can blend and raise this child, whether it's, the nurturing or it's just better. It's better.
Well, I was gonna say the saying before was it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
It technically takes more than just the parents because
Exactly. I need my mama, I need my daddy, I need my brother.
The community. You need the community to keep your child safe.
Nigga, the other day I was running late and the neighbor had to grab Keelan. Like, it takes a village. And so for people to be like that, I can do it by myself, you're a fucking
you're
idiot.
wilding,
You're an idiot.
bro.
And
You're
that's-
tripping.
I understand you have to do that.
Yeah.
But to say that is the correct way or what you want, that's
No,
bullshit.
I guarantee you speak to that child, he or she is missing a lot of different
Right.
things and variables in life skills because you try to raise a child by
Because
yourself.
you're a person with your own mentality. I
Yeah.
could not, if I raise these boys, they're gonna just be another version of me, and I'm not a whole. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. I get stuff from her. I get stuff
Yeah.
from my mom. I get stuff from, like, it's just gonna be me again, and I have flaws.
Yeah.
So you raise that child by yourself.
You have flaws.
Everybody
Me?
has flaws.
Not exterior wise, anyways.
Oh, internal.
No, but exterior wise,
Internal flaws. But it's just like, I just hate that concept. It's like, you don't need two parents. You sound like a dumbass.
You don't need two parents to survive, but to give them the full breadth, the full scope.
What they
a better
deserve.
chance. Yes, absolutely.
So and I wanted that, and it's hard as fuck. It's hard as fuck, and I could do an entire fucking thesis dissertation on interracial parenting, nigga. Like, it's hard as fuck because she doesn't understand the culture. Like, I sent you the thing the other day. I did my son hair in like two fucking like two bun thingies right here, and it was dope, right? And she tried to like replicate that like a week or so later, like this past weekend, and it was terrible. It was fucking
In
terrible.
her defense,
It was terrible.
the part was crooked. Right?
It was crooked. It was hella hair on this side. It was like a little bit of hair on this side. It was, and part of me, I was, and I was like, oh, we either gotta do this over. We just gotta comb it out. And she was like, no, I think it's fine. And I was like, yeah, but niggas, we don't really just send our kids out into the world looking any kind of way.
Just fine. Yeah, they gotta look fly.
And I was but then also her feelings got into it, and I was like, okay, well, I also don't want to offend her. So I was just like, all right, fuck it, we'll just let it slide. And we just went out. She was like, because we were supposed to go to get coffee and go to breakfast. So as we're on our way to coffee, I was like, I think we should just go get coffee. And maybe, like, let's not do breakfast. Like, I'll just eat at home. I don't want this nigga out in the world looking like this.
Did you say all that? Or you
No.
kind
I
of
was kind of just, like, finessing it. Yeah. And then, we went out, and then we get to the coffee shop, and, we having coffee. She's like, I just can't stop looking at his hair. It's just so bad. And I'm like, of course. Right. Of course now.
The not sitting there, I don't even know if that, it's cultural, of course.
Yeah, it's cultural.
It's cultural, of course, but it's also like, Connie went to all private schools. They wear uniforms every day. You know what I mean? She went to school with a lot of white kids and blah, blah. So, like, her fashion sense and that kind of stuff is non-existent.
Oh, my God.
It's non-existent.
Oh,
So,
my God.
I pick the kids' clothes out every day.
God.
Kendrick picks his own out because he got a nice little swag.
He be suited,
Oh, my God.
But Cotty be like, I'll be like, where y'all going? Keelan yesterday, nigga. When I would pick on days I don't pick out his clothes. When I pick him up from school, I'd be like, whose idea was this?
Nigga, I love the pause because you just speechless. You're like, how did you? What made you?
Was this for you to wear
Oh
this?
my God.
So the other day they were leaving. He had on his LeBrons, which are Nike. His Adidas pants. I'm already
In a Reebok with an
Mixing
A6.
and matching.
And they're all different color. Different.
And then I don't like different color blacks.
Yeah.
People be doing that, and I'm just like, what are y'all doing? like Kendrick, because we've been doing this thing where I'm like, all right, pick out your own outfit every day. Like, people who follow me on the gram, they see that's our thing. So Kendrick's actually gotten pretty good at piecing stuff together. With Dad, I'm gonna wear these shoes because they got the red in it. Like, he's gotten good at it. But Keelan, I'll be like, all right, why does this? Like, he wanted to wear 2 different fatigues one time. I was like, no, you can't. That doesn't.
Yeah.
Which is fine if he chose that. But if she chooses that,
Well,
then it's like,
I mean, she's real big on let them wear whatever they want to wear, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I am
that's
too.
fine.
Creativity, blah blah. But you can't look a mess.
right.
Like
Right.
Keelan one time. Keelan, I picked him up one time. He had on sweats and a collared button-up white shirt.
Oh,
and I
come
was
on,
like,
come on, man.
you look like a father who just gave up. Like, what's happening? She's like, he wanted to wear the shirt. I said, that's fine. Why couldn't you give him some
better pants.
something? And the shirt don't even fit.
You know what it is? It's just not registering. It's because she's a mom. She's a woman. These are sons. These are boys. She doesn't know how to dress boys because she's never dressed boys.
Yeah, if I had a daughter, I'd
Yeah,
fail.
you know what I
I'd
mean?
definitely fail.
That's what it is. Now it makes it because I'd be like, I didn't even know. I was like, how did you put together? That is fucking trash.
Yeah.
This gray and that gray with this fucking that's a horrible outfit. But it's because she's dressing boys.
But that too, and she wears school uniforms every day. Like, even when she's picking out her clothes, she's like, how does this look? Like, I'm her fashion, but I'm like, I'm not a woman, so I don't know. And then I
don't know what's in summer colors.
Right, I
all that
don't
stuff.
know.
All that stuff,
I
yeah.
don't know.
I'm in tune with
But then I told her too. I
Yeah.
said, I don't care anymore because I'll tell you that looks good, and you'll go change 5 times anyway. So I don't give a fuck no more. Like, I tried to be like, yeah, but then she'll go out and be like, I got so many compliments. I was like, I told you to look fine the first fucking time you put it on, and then you went and changed 3 more times, and
Yeah.
like, why? I don't like the way this looks on. Is it? Are you sure this? I don't. All right, I'm done. I'm watching my show. Like, I don't care because I don't take that long to get dressed. I pick up my outfit, I go.
Well, you don't have to take that long
Well,
because
also, I learned-
it's all gonna look good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Because exterior-wise,
okay,
you're perfect.
low-key.
You're not
But
wrong.
your mind, I don't know where your brain is.
I think too is different when you start to go shopping with, and I hate going shopping with women. That's why I try not to go anymore. But what I learned from my times of going was that for us, we can go get a shirt and be like, oh, this look fly on me, man. These pants look fly on me. There's certain women are built so differently.
Oh, absolutely.
A large shirt on the same girl would look
Yeah.
might look hideous because of the way her body might be built, all this stuff like that. So I can see.
I
When
understand that on the shopping tip. Once you have the clothes,
Yeah.
But also
these are the ones that work for you.
But also once you have them too, women's weight we talked about this before, but
Fluctuates?
goes so up and down that this particular part of the month, if she's bloated, this dress might not fit the right way. It might look kind of crazy. She might feel fat. She might think everything feels fat on her.
But that's fine. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But don't ask me just to go change another 6 times.
But it's also
Then don't ask me.
It's also
Yeah, that's real.
You know, that's just almost some of this shit. I just feel like is performative. Some of this shit just feels like a role, like you say, like the role of a wife.
Yeah.
Like some people like lean into that, and I think she may
Yeah.
be like leaning into the just like, oh, I don't like what I'm wearing. The whole thing. Like I don't know if it's like earnest, if it's honest.
No, hers is definitely because I had to talk her out of wearing the same thing every day.
Yeah,
Like, she's one of them people. If she could, she would wear the same
I'm one of those
outfit
people.
every
Yeah.
fucking day. And I'm like, you
Cartoon
can't
character, man.
What'd you
do
say?
this. I'm like, you can't do this.
You can't wear the same thing every day.
No, not when you're not in what we do anyway. First of all, what we do, there's a lot of pictures taken. Like, the reason why I don't wear outfits,
Everybody else
on
clothes is
stage,
different.
niggas is always taking pictures, or like they're always taking pictures or whatever. And I was like, plus, you know, you're out, you're a woman, you're pretty. Like the whole,
Yeah.
it all
It's pressure.
goes together as far as
Societal
how
pressure,
you're
bro.
presenting yourself out
Yeah.
into the world. Like
Yeah.
it's all. I was like, you don't want to accept this, but the fact of the matter is, what you do now, and even what I do, and you being my wife, and like all this shit is connected.
You're a representation of each other now.
Yeah,
Exactly,
and
which
like
is why I had
people
an
look
issue-
at us
Yeah.
like, you know, so the kids can't look any certain way.
Exactly.
You can't look at. I
Exactly.
can't just go out looking because that's not who we are anymore. Like
Yeah.
that's just not how it fucking works.
That's your
And
son.
especially even like
God
you know,
damn.
and back on the kids, like even as like an interracial couple, when we walk out with our child,
Mm.
and you know you endure the glares, and people are people are judging her like they don't know what the fuck they doing with this child.
Right.
Yeah.
Like look at this fucking
Like
kid
if
here.
she went out with Pilot by herself,
Yeah.
if black women saw her,
Oh my God, they'd be like,
"These
honey,
bitches don't need-"
Honey,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you doing with this kid?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Cause I do that.
Yeah.
When I see interracial and I see the kid's hair fucked up, I be like, this is why.
See, this is why you know. This is why you supposed to stick to your own kind,
Y'all
nigga.
don't know what
Oh,
you're doing.
that's the space I entered it during the pandemic. You know,
Yeah.
how you said you had a breeze during the pandemic.
Yeah.
You said you had a nigga. I hated nigga. I grew so nigga. I hated white people so much, nigga. Man. By the end of the pandemic, I was like, nigga, this is why you supposed to stick to. Everybody's supposed to stick to their own fucking kind. Nigga, I was in the darkness.
I do, but like we talk about, we didn't go, I guess, deep before in another podcast about it. But I do think that's why, at least in some cases, sometimes it is easier because it's like there's some stuff that I don't have to tell my girl. She don't have to tell me. We just understand because we're both black. And had that experience,
And I was thinking about this like the other day. I think I was watching something. I think I was probably watching the Kanye documentary or something, and it was just like different elements and components of it that like I fucking connected with. And you know, she won't watch it because she has her own issues with the whole shit. But there was something. I'm like, there's something cool about like having something like to myself.
Yeah.
And like her not even being able to understand it.
Yeah. It's
just like my own shit. And there's certain things culturally that she just won't get, but it's kind of cool because I just get to have it like all to myself.
do you feel like that can possibly be like an issue for your son? Because like let's say something God forbid did happen, now she has to teach him certain things, but she doesn't have that.
She won't. Well,
and because also too is your side of the family now present. Like, you know, sometimes some sides of the family aren't present in the child's life. So like, let's say something did happen, we're just side of the family be like, yo, don't worry, we got that stuff because we're gonna be here anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I think naturally, most mixed kids sort of, you know, most mixed kids depending on their environment, but usually they lean black.
Yeah,
because you know we also live in a time where, you know, we all want to be victims in a certain way. People are like really trying to be victims and really leaning into their struggle and their trauma to be victims in a lot of ways. So I think he'll naturally lean or have a more curiosity towards blackness. So and my family is hood as fuck. Like my family is like real like hella hood, and her family is like very white. Yeah. Like very white. So I think if it can't, like the push come to shove, I think he would lean. I think people just naturally lean black. Yeah. Everybody wants to be black. Everybody want to be a nigga. Like
they try to be a nigga.
Everybody want to be a nigga, but they don't want to be a nigga. Like yeah. You know,
I think about that with my my brother's kids. Like if anything was to happen, like I'm going to grab them. Like I'm not gonna take them from their mama, but at the same time, like, all right, well, y'all gotta come spend summers. You gotta come.
Yeah. They have to get that experience.
You know what I mean? You gotta. And like I didn't realize honestly until school started, my kids actually hadn't been around a lot of white people in general. Because you figure they're babies, they're around family and stuff. All my friends, black, whatever. Then there's a pandemic. Everybody in the house, that's just family and friends again. So for the first, 5 years of their life, they saw black people. Yeah. So him going to school, I'm watching him. This is his real first experiences with like, okay, well, how what's all this? Now, granted, they're kids. They're gonna play. None of that really matters. But it was stuff I thought about all the time, like raising them out here in the valley and shit like that. Like who are their friends gonna be? Blah blah. But then I thought about it. His friends are still gonna be. My kids all have kids. I mean, my friends all have kids. His friends. He's still gonna have. My fear was them raising them out here, and them not having black friends and shit like that. But right. Because of what we do in this industry, and all our friends have kids, they gonna have black friends. Yeah. They gonna do that naturally anyway.
Why is that important to you?
For because I don't want that kid that just doesn't get it. Now, me as his father, I would never allow him to be that kid, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah. But at the same time, like, and plus, I wouldn't want them to be the token in them circles, and like feeling the pressure of letting certain shit slide or whatever like that, because I don't want to be the kid that
Yeah. What about in terms of like? So what about the Colin Kaepernicks of the world?
So like if you watch Colin, he grew up confused as fuck his whole life. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like so. Yeah, I would. They need to be around
versus who he is now, though.
But he had to date a black woman
in order to get that exposure.
Yeah,
I dated a girl who was raised Jewish, but she was half black. But she didn't even realize she was half black until she got older. And I don't know if I might have said it on here before. I'm not sure, but like she struggled because once she found out she was like, all right, wait, I'm black. She went through a whole identity crisis. She started talking hood. She started trying to roll her neck, saying nigga more. It was just like she had an identity crisis. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and I feel like that's why. I feel like I don't have any children yet, but if you're in a racial relationship like that, it's like somebody has to be there to teach them blackness, because at the end of the day, they most likely look majority black, or they're not going to most likely be white passing. If you have a mixed child, so they're going to have to learn somewhat about who they are, either their history or why they look a certain way and stuff like that. And if there's a parent there not to teach them that, it could possibly be like a big
What's
time
up?
struggle.
What?
He's like, I'm out here.
You just coming?
He's
What?
like,
What?
he's like, it's a nice day.
You joining us, big dog? What are you doing, bro?
It's a nice day.
You know we're shooting right now? Did you know that?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Open it up.
What do you?
Open it up.
yeah. Whatever you talk about don't matter, bro. I need
But that's
to
how I
put the
feel
internet
about.
back
When you mention identity crisis, that's what I feel. That's how I feel about fake boobs.
on.
It creates an identity crisis.
It kind of does. I mean, I feel like any of that. I feel like whether it's the fake boobs, fake
Tony?
butt, fake makeup. I mean, I feel like makeup does it too. Right now,
Alright, go back in the house.
Who put that? Who put those clothes on you? Got it.
Oh yeah, you need to go get
dressed like
go
that.
Go get dressed. We're gonna get your brother soon.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
Close
it's
the door.
it's also interesting too because the world is like shrunk
yeah.
because of the access to the internet and so everyone has access to like coolness and has access to shit that people perceive as cool. So I think the lines have kind of blurred a little bit between like developing sort of a cultural like an identity in terms of blackness, but
But I feel like you need to be around black kids too, so you can be roasted and shit like
I
I think
think it
that.
makes
everybody
you-
needs to develop that.
I think
Yeah,
it gives you stronger. It gives you,
You
thicker
can't
skin
you
for
can't
sure.
handle like how we grow up is just different.
How does that prepare us for the professional world, though? Does that is that because I know like when I it's interesting because when the way she interacts with Pilot and the way that I interact with him and the way that like at some point I'll like not instill fear, but like I'll have to like put my foot down and let him know like no, this is what it is, and she's very much like engaging and very much like what's the word I'm looking for? Not
A conversational or something.
she's very much accommodating
Okay.
to like his fucking tantrums and all that shit, and I'm at a certain point I'll let it go, I'll talk to him, but at a certain point I'm like no nigga, this is like you need to chill or
Yeah.
whatever the case is, but I feel like her approach is much more of what the world is gonna be like in school, like when teachers are trying to discipline him.
No, it's not.
I think
You
it's
know what I
He
mean?
looks, they're not gonna do that with him.
Yeah.
They're not.
Teachers are very much like
They are, but at the same time, how our
docile in
kids are
ways.
treated in general in this world is just different.
Yeah.
Which is why I think we parent different. Because at the end of the day, we could try to do what they do, but we don't have the life that they have. So it's like, just like you'd be like, yeah,
But
they
in a
can do that. We
professional
can't
world,
do that.
though.
Even there.
I
we
mean,
don't get
just
the same. we don't get the
teacher.
same treated.
I would see a teacher will most likely yoke up a black or brown child way before any other like child. So it's like you gotta. Yeah, I think in that it's like you gotta prepare your kid for just different things regardless.
right, yes, but I'm just like
Okay, like
the ability to finesse that situation. Like, okay, so I don't want to create a scenario like if it was just me and the way that I discipline him is like very hard, very firm. If that's who I was, if I didn't have like, if I wasn't dynamic with it, but if I was very like, you know what I mean? And then he goes out and he has a white female teacher in kindergarten through the 5th grade, he's not going to respect her.
Right.
He's not going to respect her authority. So it's about like trying to instill a variety of ways of discipline in order so he can respond to a variety of ways of discipline.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't think one way is.
Yeah.
And that's why I was, I was telling y'all earlier when Kadi, she's always questioning her own parenting. I was like, no, I need you here because you do certain things that I wouldn't do, and I take stuff from you on how to handle them, how to communicate with you. Like I need to see how you parent to help me be a better parent.
Right.
Because if I just did everything my way, nigga, this house would be spotless. There'd be no
There'd be no problems.
No, there'd be no fucking. But they would be walking on eggshells. All the time.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And it's like I watch her, her patience and her stuff like that. So it's helped me develop more patience. And then basically I don't even come in until it's like okay, this needs to be done. So like, and I'll even hear her say, "Do you want your dad to come in here?" And they'll kind of get it together. But so
Right.
I don't need to.
Right.
Yo, like
Yeah.
it's just.
It's a presence.
Right.
It's
and
a
so
presence.
I've learned the power of my presence as well. So even when I am checking them, I'm way more calm than I used to be. Like because I'm just like I don't need to do that. They're not terrified.
They're not
but it's like,
it's a healthy level of fear.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like when I come in a room and they hear me coming, I'm like, what y'all supposed to be doing? Sorry, we'll clean. My bad. Like,
Yeah.
But it's not like they're not crying. They're not in the corner.
Right.
Like,
Right.
But they're like, sorry, Dad, we'll get it done. I'm like, cool. That's all.
They
I
know
ask,
when
bro.
you're serious.
Yeah, I'll be like, that's
And
all I ask. We good.
And then you balance that out with like being extra playful, being
I'm
extra
super
fun,
playful, and I'm
hella
always
fun,
kissing
funny, goofy,
and
silly,
hugging and,
etc. Exactly.
Because I never would want them to live in the fear. So
Right.
that's why I'm so playful and so like touching
they
and
know.
all that because I understand our fathers, their fathers. They only knew kind of one way.
Yeah.
And it really impacted me when I seen the movie Fences, and like Denzel really didn't get what he was doing wrong. He just didn't get it.
Yeah.
He said, "I feed you," and like when the whole I ain't gotta like you thing, and
Right.
in his mind he's like, "I'm doing what I'm supposed to do," not realizing they need more than that. You can't just be the tyrant all the time. Like you have to have a balance to where they feel like they can come to you with stuff and they can yada yada yada. So I'm always conscious of like even some stuff my dad did. Like he was over the top with a lot of things, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do
But
that.
do you feel like you're naturally?
I think it's a
that
natural thing to
you're working
do
on it?
as a man raising boys. For one, he's raising 3 boys.
Mm.
I'm raising 2 boys. I think that plays a part, for sure. You're raising 3 black boys on top of that, 2 black boys, whatever. I think when you're raising sons, you're prepping them, and it goes back to what we talked about before. Accountability, all the things that we're just raised to do.
Yeah.
I feel like, there's some things I got to do.
Like what?
And then with her, there's some things I'm like, that's not gonna prep them for
Right.
what
You're trying
life
to
is gonna
prepare.
be like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a man, as a black man, as a how they gotta carry themselves, like certain I don't want to say guy code or street code or whatever, but you know what I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that type of shit that you don't know, like
Yeah.
like when my son be coming home, well so and so said this and hey bruh, mind your fucking business.
Yeah.
We don't get involved, and that ain't how. A man, look people in the eye, shit like that. Like them type of things, she's just not even cognizant of. You know what I mean? Like she don't do
Yeah.
that.
She doesn't know.
Yeah. So
Is
it's
she
just
is she aware that she doesn't know and
Yes.
kind of gives that to you?
she is definitely not a woman who is like I can raise a man. That is not her.
That's I mean
That's
That is
actually
not
great.
her.
That's
That's
great.
great.
That's great. I can
She
do that.
was
Great.
like they need their father.
so
Yeah.
you would you say in talking about like establishing sort of a leader of the house, would you say that she has lent that sort of role to you willingly?
Yeah.
That's dope.
She is like but she's also. I think, because I respect her enough to like. It ain't like I came in like this is how it goes. She's allowing me to do this.
Exactly.
She's allowing me to. I trust where you will guide this family.
That's really dynamic.
I trust
Yeah.
where you, blah blah. But I definitely feel like I've had to work on. Like, okay, you've given me this power, if you will, right?
Mhm.
But I ain't the end all, be all. I need your input. I need your, guidance on certain things. I need, what I mean? Like, I feel like women hear leadership or whatever, and they
Buck against it naturally.
and they take it as a disrespectful thing. When in actuality, if you look at history, the only person when a king is ruling, like I'm talking about way back when kings and queens, right?
Hmm.
The only person he ever like took advice from or whatever was his woman. It was behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But when you watch all these things, the only one that could ever really check him was the queen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like he had his advisors and shit like
Yeah.
that, but at the end of the day, hey. But then he would
The
go
pussy.
back behind the closed door, and
That
she was
pussy
like, "Hey,
come in.
listen,
If you want this pussy the way you want it,
you don't do blah blah." Even when it comes to parenting, dads, I've seen, dads do stuff in public, and she'll be quiet, and then they get home.
Yeah.
You ever blah blah? He be like, "Hey,
yeah.
you got it." You know what I mean? You got it.
So because I think we're like living in a really interesting time, and I think that's hella dynamic. That Kadi can thrive like within her own like career and be independent, but then also sort of submit to being a wife at home. And I think that's what we struggle with like the most now. Like I'm in a space now. My girl's like, we're doing the work and working on it, but she naturally just challenges anything that I have to say. And, a lot of that I think is her like trying to compensate and trying to prove her purpose and prove her worth, where, being sort of the trend of being like an independent woman and having two alphas in the same space, and they're naturally like clashing with each other. So I think it's major that one, because I'm, we were talking about this earlier, I'm a huge proponent of like there being a clear leader of the house. It doesn't have to be the man, it doesn't have to be the woman, but one motherfucker should be the leader. Yeah. Like if you want to lead, and I was like, if you want to lead, I'll let you have it. But I'm telling you right now, if you allow me to lead this fucking house, bro, shit will go so much smoother. It will go so much smoother. And
I think the buck back as well too, because people think, like I said, leading means you have no say so, or leading means it's my way or the highway. That's not what it means. It just means I'm guiding. You let me know. Are you agree with this? Do you let me know? Yeah. And even the word submission, that is a trigger for a lot of women. Like, well, submission doesn't mean I'm your boss.
Yeah.
Right. I think. And again, you're allowing me to do this because you trust me.
Yeah. I think it goes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what you said. I think when they hear leadership, they automatically think submission on their part, and so, yeah, that is triggering. I know, and specifically for my situation, my girl being the youngest in the family, and always being told what to do, and then every time she tried to voice her opinion in the household, there's like a pretty much kind of like you're especially you being the girl, you don't really have a lot of say so here. You would let your brother have a little bit more say so, but you being the youngest and a girl, like, you listen to everybody here. Nobody comes to you and listens to you. Right. So it's like, it's kind of how I grew up in a sense with being a younger brother. It's like, essentially my brother was like an extension of a parent to me, even though we're close in age. So I feel like it was that natural same thing of like bucking back in defiance. I'm just like, yo, why do you have to like go against me at times? It's like this, and I was just like, it's okay. I said, one, therapy needs to help us out, so you go to therapy at some point for this. I was like, just like you said, just trust me. I said, I will lead us to the promised land. I said the same thing. I'll lead us to the promised land. I was like, when have I led us astray in the first place? I was like, allow me to make mistakes, but even in all that, I still haven't led us to a bad place. I know you said you was like, it doesn't matter who leads, a man or a woman. I be honest with you, I think when men or women are in a household together, in most cases, women don't want to lead the whole household. They might want to take leadership in some other areas, but they don't want to have to head the whole household. Like, all right, I got this whole thing, put it on my back. I'm going to take care of all this. I think for the most part, they would want to take care of some things over there, but overall, in most cases, leave it for the man.
I disagree.
I think some want it until.
I think naturally, innately, women are they spend more time in the home, so they want to make it their home. They used to naturally. They used to. And men would be out at work and doing all the shit. So like this is their home to kind of frame into like the crib. That
I guess we're speaking different. When I say the home, I'm talking about the interior of the home. I'm talking about as the family, leading the family.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. Not like leading, like in the house. Like normally, that's what happens. You come home. This is her domain. It looks the way the house looks. Most likely is the way. Oh, I'm talking about. Like,
I don't even care about that shit. When it comes to that shit, I'll be
me neither. Yeah, literally, our house is pretty much 98% Janelle, and then I have like I bought 2 pictures, like 2 paintings or whatever. And that's
but I mean, it too though. Like a lot of dudes be wanting that, but it's like, nigga, I wouldn't trust you with a. You know what I mean? Like a lot of dudes be
not trust. Yeah,
you ain't worth being followed, if you will. Like, nigga, you ain't shit. Like I said, it's them allowing us to do it. So that means they trust us enough to do it. So a lot of these dudes, you ain't trustworthy to do this shit,
that's
bro.
Right.
Let me ask y'all this then. Do you think you can be? Wait, let's go back. So let me ask y'all this. Do you think you have to be a natural born leader to lead like something like that, like a family, or do you think you can like learn leadership?
I think it's not. I think it's more natural. I think it's more natural and also based like on your experiences and shit too. And I think usually, especially with kids, when kids come into the picture, a woman actually naturally takes on a stronger role because it came out of her. So we naturally are just like, I don't know what I'm doing, But with me, I have fucking 16 nieces and nephews, and I've been an uncle since I was 10 with kids in the house. So I have you know, I'm kind of versed in like, you know, chowering or whatever. So I kind of came to the game with a different skill set that she wasn't really prepared for. So naturally she's like, this baby came out of me. I know more.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, actually I kind of know a lot of shit as well. So, you know, we would naturally kind of like buck up against each other.
Yeah.
And I think also with dealing with the modern woman and being an independent woman and being more of an alpha and more in control like of her life and stuff, and that kind of clashing with a man of similar stature, I realize, and this is a lot of shit that I'm learning now. A lot of now for me is like, I'm gonna shut up. It's like it's like that silence. So she'll say something that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'll shut the fuck up. Or if I'm going on about something and I see how it's affecting her, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna shut up now.
Yeah.
So a big thing for me is learning, even though, you know, she makes fucking more money than I do, and like, you know, those dynamics and that disparity does exist. But me, I realize that mentally and subconsciously that the more I treat her as my equal, the more I treat her like a man. So it's become like, no, this is my woman. This is my lady. I need to nurture her. I need to lift her up. I need to, you know, I need to treat her as though she's a delicate flower.
Yeah, she's gentle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So taking on that approach now, things have been like much more peaceful, rather than us just like challenging and clashing nonstop. You know, two alpha minds clashing. It's like, okay, I'm gonna let her have that, you know, what she needs.
Yeah.
In those moments.
Because I just realized I was doing that. I was treating her like, okay, if you're my partner, you should be able to handle what I handle. You should be able to take what I take. You should be able, but it's like, at the end of the day, she's still a woman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's still, and I'm not saying this is, you know, applies to all women, but in my case, I was like, okay, how I speak, how I deal with how I even, you know, so ever since, you know, the last thing we talked about, I've been really conscious of like how one of our biggest beefs was she was like, how you talk to me. Like, nigga, I talk to you like I would talk to my brother, like I would talk, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that ain't who you are. That ain't, you know what I mean? So it's like, all right, and I've gotten better at trying to like in joke form, pretty much saying I'm gonna shut up now.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I'd say something, she challenged, I'm like, hey man, you got it. I don't want no smoke.
Yeah,
You got it.
I love it. I love it.
You got it.
I love that.
I don't want no problems, man.
Yeah,
all I
yeah.
want is peace around here. I don't want no problems. So then she can laugh at herself.
Yeah.
And also realize that she might have snapped right there.
Yeah.
Which she explained why the snapping was going on or whatever. You know, the message versus messenger thing we were talking about. She just basically got to a point. She's like, I didn't want to hear none of your shit no more because you were always on me. Blah 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 blah. And I was like, all right, well, I will eat more things. She was like, well, I don't want you to do that. I was like, no. I think that needs to be done just because I can take more. So I'd rather eat it than you rather eat it and harbor, you know what I mean? Jesus.
Well, so I, like, if you had to.
Oh, how I talk to her.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, don't talk to me like a child. And I said, fair enough. You know, if it was coming off like that, I apologize. You know, but our last talk, honestly, is probably the best talk we ever had because, like I've said before, give me stuff in real time. She absorbed everything I said and acknowledged it in real time. And I was like, that's growth.
What do you attribute that to?
I think it could have been the way I was talking to her. It could have been, because I've been asking her to just be honest for so long. Like, since I've known her, like, just don't harbor your feelings or don't say what you think I want to hear. Just tell the fucking truth. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And she's gotten better at, okay, this is how I really feel. I'm like, great. So let's work on, you know, blah, blah. And then I think she had a big problem with she felt like if we were making changes for each other, then we were compromising ourselves.
Right.
It's like, no, we're just growing.
We're growing.
And plus, the stuff we're asking of each other isn't crazy.
Right.
It'd be different if I was telling you to be a whole different person. Fine. Me saying this little thing, or you asking me, hey, could you not? Fine.
Yeah.
That's not a big. She makes things a bigger deal than they need to be. Where I'll just be like,
it's cool.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you share a space. When you and I think she hates conflict. For one, and two, I think she was under the impression that we weren't supposed to have conflict.
Right.
I'm like, if you got into it, if you grew up with siblings, you got into it with siblings. Everybody went through that phase where you hate your parents. If you share a room with somebody, they're gonna get on your fucking nerves.
Yeah, you got roommates,
That's okay.
all that stuff.
And she was acting like if, you know, one of us got on each other's nerves. Oh God, we're gonna break up.
Questioning
No.
everything. Yeah.
No,
the
it's
future.
It's just, right now I'm pissing you off. That's normal. That's fine. Just tell me I'm pissing you off, or that I'm getting on your nerves. I'll correct the behavior, and then we can be fine, and you don't have to be all weird. Like, it's just...
Yeah. It does escalate real fast. Like,
right.
Like, and more specifically, I don't know if I talked about this, but I think the last big argument that we had was, she asked me to put him to bed, but like passively, like hella passively. She was like, I came in the room. She's like, "Do you want to put him to bed tonight?" I was like, "You could just ask me to put him to bed if you want me to put him to bed." Because if I was to answer honestly and I said no, then you would put him to bed, but you would be resentful towards me for not. I was like, we can cut all that. Yeah. Let's just cut all that fat, trim that fat like a joke, trim that fat off that joke. Ask me to put the nigga to bed. I've never challenged you in terms of putting him to bed. I do not mind it. But let's just, and then that escalated into like, why don't you just do them into like a whole nother fucking conversation to where she's like, this is how I do. I'm like, yeah, but it's not. Just be genuine. It's easy.
Right. Yeah. But then when the conversations come out, they bring up all the other shit they've been harboring, and that's why this little thing turned into this big thing. But if you would have just said that other thing way back then,
just say it the first
fine.
time.
You want to know what that conversation led to? That conversation led to from, do you want to put him to bed? Just ask me to put him to bed. Until like the next day, I just feel so much resentment towards you, and I just harbor so much resentment towards you because I had to move to Los Angeles. It always goes back.
It's a whole different conversation.
No. There were steps into between that, but like that's where it landed. That's where it landed ultimately. I just hate that I have to live in Los Angeles for you.
Does she not like it here?
Well, it's a long story. So, and I love that. I love that you guys like spent some time apart, before y'all got back together. I think that's like very telling of, your connection and your compatibility. But she had moved to Los Angeles before, and she hated it here. Like the circumstances were terrible, and she moved back, and then we broke up then, but we still stayed in contact. And I thought like that time apart really solidified like that I really want to be with this woman. I think every relationship needs that distance to really challenge it, if it like really brings you back together. So, long story short, she had a work trip in Seattle. I flew up to Seattle, surprised her, did the whole thing like, hey, I really want us to work or whatever. So she was still living in Michigan, and I was living out here, and I would go back and forth. I was, flying for free, and I was going back and forth. And at one point, I think in like a letter that I wrote her, I was like, hey, I'm willing to do anything to try to make this work. If I need to compromise and like move to Chicago, maybe we meet halfway, whatever, I'll do that. So
Gary used to work for the airline.
Yeah.
By the way, guys.
Yeah.
So she took that information. She's like, okay, maybe we'll move to Chicago. Maybe, I'll compromise, move to the Midwest somewhere. But I wanted more time to try to establish things here in LA. So I think upon like thinking about it like longer and further, like, and then the pandemic hit, I was like, I don't know if it'll be the best idea. So we ended up moving back here. And so I think she felt like through that experience that I may have like lied or was dishonest about my intention, or that I may have like duped her and I had no intention on, trying out something else, which wasn't the case. It was like the pandemic. And then like, I was like, if we both moved to a place in the middle of a fucking pandemic where we both don't know anyone and we both have no, like we're gonna fail. Right. So I'll entertain that, and I'll listen. But then at one point I was like, we can't, because the argument always goes back to her like having to move here for the family. I was like, you gotta know that we would not have worked out. Yeah. Like this was the best thing for the family. So it always goes back to that. But she always needs that space, that safe space to vent that frustration. Yeah. Because at one point, nigga, she told me, like, the way that I talk and the way that I come off, and sometimes it can be condescending and all other shit. But I said to her that, she was like, even when you say that you don't know something, it comes off condescending. And I was like, okay, well then we're done then. We're done. If I can't be vulnerable and admit fault, like then okay, that's it then. She's like, yeah, even the way you say I don't know, I don't like it.
But you know what? Me and Kanye have gotten into it over. I'm like, you can't take what I say and then do whatever the fuck you want with it in here.
Yeah.
If I say I'm tired, you can't be like, so you don't want to hang. What? I'm tired. That's what that means. I'm physically. I want to take a nap.
Yeah.
I'm sleep. It doesn't mean anything. It had nothing to do with your mother, your whatever happened. I'm just. She takes what I say and runs where I'm like, where are you? I have to stop her sometimes. Like, when did I say that? Where are you going right now? My words were, hey, I would like to chill today. That's what I said.
Yeah.
How did you go all these other places? I never said that.
Dog, that is the realest shit. That is because how something makes them feel can alter the truth, the objective truth of what happened. So remember that when I just told you, like when she's like, "Do you want to put him in the back tonight?"
Right.
And I was like, in that discussion, when we recounted that discussion, in her mind, I came at her hard, like, why the fuck you so fucking passive? Won't you just fucking say what you like? That's how she regurgitated that back out to me, and I was like, the problem with that is if you tell someone else that story the way that you just said it back to me, they're gonna think I'm a fucking monster, and that's not what happened. There's an objective truth, and there's a way that you feel about it. Don't intertwine the two and create a new truth that's not real.
I told her, I was like, if you want, we can start recording conversations.
Yeah.
So you can see how it happened because.
Let me tell you something.
You did it?
Oh no. I didn't. I almost did. But I've said that same thing multiple times, and because she was like, "Well, then let's do it." Then I said, "All right." Then one time stuff was going, put on my phone. I was like, "I can start recording right now." She was like, "Why would you want to record? Like that's just like." Because in my head I'm like, because I know.
Yeah.
You're saying some. You're not
go
not
off the fucking
rails.
You're arguing with emotion.
Yeah, you're arguing. You're not analyzing things the correct way.
Yeah.
Like this is what happened. I think I told Keon about this recently. But when I got back off the road, I had made an appointment to get a massage. My back was killing me. my back was. I don't fly well. Like when I fly, I just like my back. I can't sleep well. And I'm just very uncomfortable on planes unless I'm probably sitting like first class or something like that, right? And so I came back. I made an appointment, and so I hang up the phone. She goes, "What was that for?" She heard the conversation, so she knows what it was for. I was like, "Oh, I made a massage. I made an appointment for a massage." I said, "Oh, my bad. I was like, you want me to recall? I can call back and schedule a couples massage." And she was just like, "I mean, if you want to, if that's what you want to do." And I was just like,
wait, I'm not following.
I said, I was like,
what if you want to do, like,
because I was like, I'll call back right now and get us a couple massage right now. I can do that. She's like, I mean, if you want to. I was like, what are you talking about? I just asked you, do you want me to do this?
Yeah.
And she was just like, well, and she's just like, how come you just made the call and you just didn't think about me? Like, you should have just automatically did it. So she went and took a shower, and she was like, well, I got to my feelings. I just felt like you should have. And I felt like, and then she went into a whole conversation of, like, leadership. She's like, as a leader, I felt like a leader should just know. I said, no, not all the time. Like, I can't read your mind. What are you talking about? I said, I need you to say what you want. If I ask you something, don't put it back on me. I asked you, motherfucker. Like, say the answer, and I'll go do it. She's like, well, I felt like you didn't want me to go. I said, why?
No, the problem is I wasn't even thinking about you when I said it because my fucking back hurts.
My
back hurts.
I said it. And that's
I wasn't doing this for leisure.
Yes.
My back hurts, so I was like, I just want to relieve the pain on my back. I wasn't thinking about what you might want to do.
I see both angles though.
I
She's
see
like, oh, you're getting a massage. Like, I want to fucking
playtime,
massage.
but he's like, no, I'm in pain.
Like, no, I'm hurting.
Yeah. And what Keon just said is a word for word what I said. I said, nigga, I'm not thinking about you. I'm in pain over days. And you know, and I said, you knew this. I was like, hell, in my case, I'm thinking, like, I didn't say this, but I was like, you could have just made the massage for me, if anything, or made it for us.
Or you could have gave me a massage.
Shit. So I was just like, I wasn't thinking about you. I was like, you're making it to where it's like, I don't want to do something without you now. Mm-hmm. You made up a whole scenario where I feel like you don't want me, like you don't want to do this with me. It's like, nigga, I'm hurting. Yeah, I'm in pain. I'm in actual pain.
And if I did want to do it with you, I wouldn't say, hey, do you want me to change this real
quick?
quick?
That was a massage. And I would have went back into the other room. Right. I would have left you hanging there.
You know what's fucked up? the fucked up part about that is that like us talking about it right now, I see both sides, and if you were to just like, if I would have come at you like, oh, you about to get a massage? You don't think I want it? And you're like, oh no, it's because my back hurts. And then like the logical sense, I was like, oh okay, like and it ends there.
Yeah.
Like it's like there's no further like. You're not thinking of me, but I get her side.
My logic comes in like, yo, oh, your back was hurting. Oh, my bad. Well, could you call back? Because I would love to.
Add me, right?
You could just add me on there. I'm like, yeah, I got you. That would have ended everything instead of thinking that I wasn't purposely thinking about you.
But like, why did you even go? Like, this is where they go out the gate is like
exactly.
Why did you go all the way here? Like, I've lately I've been like, whoa.
I love it because it's so condescending.
It
shit is so fucking condescending. His calm voice, his hands like, wait a minute. No, I don't want smoke with you. That shit is awful.
But it makes her laugh.
Yeah.
That's why I do it, because it makes her laugh. And I'd be like, whoa. Like, when I act like she, like, abuses me,
Yeah.
it makes her laugh. So, like, when she was going off about, you control everything, blah, blah, the boys actually do something, I was like, yeah, ask your mama. I don't
You go full slave?
I go full slave every time she's like, oh, shut up. I'm like, hey, please, master, don't beat me now. Don't beat me. Please don't beat me now. And, but, like,
I'm going to try that. That's funny.
She goes full on, and, like, I just be trying to tell her, you know, like, nah, I'm chilling, and you go here, and it didn't need to go there. So, like, the Chick-fil-A incident, I think I told you about the Chick-fil-A incident.
Yeah.
So this is days after we had the talk. We're leaving Keelan's t-ball practice. She goes, everybody's hungry. Let's go to Chick-fil-A. I said, bet. Okay, that's fine. That's what y'all want. She's like, I really want some Chick-fil-A. I said, cool. So we go to Chick-fil-A. She orders for her and the boys. She said, you're not getting anything? I said, nah, I'm going to actually go to the chicken, gyro place down the street.
Go there.
She goes, oh, I want that. And I go, oh, miss, one Chick-fil-A now wants to change her mind. That's how I said it. I'm allowed to change my mind. I said, wait a minute.
That came from
that was some other shit.
Yeah.
That was some shit from 2017.
She said I was like, okay, whatever you want, please. And she said, well, you said you wanted me to say stuff in real time. And I said, I do.
Not like that.
But she said, but you also said not to snap at you, so that's my bad. So she caught herself.
Yeah.
Which the thing she's been doing.
Growth. That's all
growth. The thing she's been doing over the past week, she never did before.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, what was your... I said, what was your issue? And she said, well, you made it seem like I had to stay in my decision. Like, I said, I never said any of that. I made a little joke about how you were copying me, but that's fine if you want to go to the place. That's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. She's like, okay, well, yeah, I went, and I was like, yeah, just relax, bruh. Like, relax.
Right. And there's also a part of me that, should we allow them the space to have those irrational, like?
Well, I do, and that's why I go into the
outbursts.
slave. That's where I incorporate, because I'm like, okay,
yeah,
and then because what it does is it makes her be like, wait, did I just do this? And it's like, yeah, you did.
Because you want to constantly just be like self-correcting, like just like sometimes it's like you can let it out and then. Let's address it, and then we can move on.
And that's the thing too, the move on.
Yeah.
I'm like, once we have I'll be like,
I'm over it.
Boom, let's go. And you always feel better after we do them, after you've gotten your stuff out. Yeah. So just get it out. Let's do it, and then we done.
We're out of here.
We done. You want to sit here and we don't have to overdo it.
Yeah.
So one of us did something, the other one addresses it. We be like, oh, my bad, and then we go. That's it. Could be that easy. Mm-hmm. It could be that easy without all the feelings and shit. That makes it more dramatic than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been trying to tell her. Is like, it doesn't have to be dramatic. Like, so you say I'm dramatic? I'm like, yes. You're dramatic.
Yeah.
I can be dramatic. I'm like, yeah, just don't.
It's not a problem. That's not like.
Just,
Ken, is there anything you and your lady can't do together?
What do you mean, like, as in?
Like, okay, like me and my girl, we can't play the game Codenames together.
Codenames?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a game where you like give each other clues and you're trying to guess like I guess like the person or something. I can't recall, but we can't play that game together and we can't watch TV together because she watches the volume's too low, and that's cultural. I grew up, nigga. I'm sitting in the back of cutlasses and shit with two 12s in the back, and I'm sitting in the middle at 3 to fucking 12. So my ear, you know, but she's always like, it's gonna wake up the baby, nigga. And nigga, it has never woken up the baby. The volume of the TV has never.
I don't think that's a cultural thing. I think that's it might be a man woman, because I think we just like, because I remember watching that growing up my whole life. My mom would be like, does it need to be this loud? And my dad like, nigga, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
I think that's just, I think it's just what we do.
I like to hear everything.
I want to hear the shit.
Yeah, I don't think it's cultural, because like if I can, I only turn the surround sound off when the boys are asleep.
Yeah.
Other than that, let that shit blast, nigga. Like she be like, a little loud.
Yeah.
Even though she can't hear, but rather than turn it up, she'll just be like, turn on the subtitles.
Right.
She just doesn't want it, but I'm like, let that shit blast. The only thing I want quiet is you and the kids.
Nigga,
the TV,
right? The
TV
TV
loud as fuck.
Yeah.
The TV wants to be heard.
I don't like quiet unless it's y'all.
You want to know what the worst, like, back to dating, the worst shit is you go to pick a girl up, she gets in the car, and immediately turns the volume down.
Oh no!
Immediately.
I know. Normally when I was going on a date, I would have it because I'll be playing like R&B, you know, for just
trying to get the way, trying to get.
Yeah, I normally don't have R&B bumping too loud, or if I'm bumping my own shit before I get there, I have my own shit bumping loud, and then when she's coming to the car, I'll have it turned to a volume to where, because I understand that I like my music loud as shit. I want my chest to vibrate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I understand that some women do, some women don't.
And I understand how it can be too much, because like I've been in cars. When you get in the hood nigga car, and then like you said, in 12, I'd be like,
bro,
I'd be wanting to say, can you turn this down, bro? My ears are getting
grown.
When you can't hear yourself breathe, you can't you be like, am I like the vibrate? Am I alive right now? What's happening?
It's like, I'm like, this is too loud.
Yeah.
Like, but dudes ain't gonna say nothing. Like, even when you're on a road trip and you gotta pee, you just take it.
Yeah.
You just be like, I ain't gotta, I'm just holding it until we get to where we need to get, and I'll pee then. But nobody wants to be the first person in the car, because as soon as somebody be like, hey, anybody got to pee? Be like, nigga, I've been holding this for I've been holding this for like an hour, bro. So it's like, I just think we just be taking shit more, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So you got a wife. You have a soon-to-be wife. I have a soon-to-be wife. What does it take if you had to give women advice? What does it take to, I don't want to say like win that or become a wife, but like, what are like wifey attributes, I would say? What are things that you feel like dudes like looking for in a fucking wife?
I think fun, for one.
Mm-hmm. I think just adding to peace. Like you said, some guys do want drama.
Oh,
I understand. There's some guys out there that do like drama. For the most part, most dudes don't want drama. They don't want drama being brought home. They don't want drama energy. We want to be, if we're already peaceful, we want you to add to peace. Don't mess up our peace.
Yeah, I hate women when I hear women be like, if you can't handle me, why the fuck does anybody have to
If
handle
I don't
you?
lie, then find something less.
Like, why is, and that's why your ass gonna stay single. Who the fuck wants to handle anybody? Who wants to deal with shit like that? I already gotta go to work. I already gotta go be black. I already gotta do all this other shit.
Yep.
And then you want me to come home to your bullshit? I
to
don't want to do that shit. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah,
so if you're a lot, you're probably gonna be single, because no nigga wants to do that.
Yeah, if that's your energy, I think you need to go to therapy, to be honest. Like, because that means you have, for real, it's like you have baggage. You have issues.
Why are you such a proponent of therapy? I'm not a therapy dude.
I am.
Here's the thing.
I want to go just to go.
I am, because I've went through it.
Okay.
And I know it works if you're open. If you're not open,
that's why
it's not going to work.
Right.
But then it also depends on you. I hate the idea
and it
that
depends on
you
your
gotta
therapist.
find the right therapist. Like, nigga, it's supposed to be science.
No,
I should be able to talk to anybody. I should be able to.
You should be able to. But there are bad therapists out there. Like I said, when I asked for mine, I specifically asked for a black man, because I know there's certain things that I don't even have to communicate with this dude. He knew. Literally, go ahead.
You asked for a black man, but like if you were really asking for someone who can speak to your experience, you would have asked for like, I need a black man under 6 foot tall.
He actually was.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is,
he walked in, he was bald. He was like,
I know, low-key, I could tell this dude was like he probably was like a pretty boy back in the day. Had like a lot of women back in the day too. But like there were certain things where I was having a conversation. He's like, brother, you ain't got to explain that to me. I know. Like, either he's experienced it, or he just understands as a black man the black male energy, or even having a black wife, knowing how certain things how it is, and how a woman can act and do some things. Like, well, so the reason why I'm big for it is because it literally does work. but now you do probably have to find the right therapist. I've had friends say they had to find 3 therapists before they found the right
I don't
one.
want to go through all that. It shouldn't take that much.
Understandable. From your perspective, it's like, yo, therapy is a thing that all therapists know how to do. I shouldn't have to go to get a black man or a white man or a white woman or whatever the case may be. They should all be able to have the same results. This is not the case.
Yeah.
A lot of times they pull from schoolwork and whatever they had to in the field, but also too they pull from experience. So I think once you find somebody that can pull from their experience, it helps out. I think most of us, even you and your lady, would benefit from it. It don't necessarily got to be.
That's what I'm saying. I'm in support of couples therapy.
Yeah.
I don't. The only thing about individual therapy is because it's your story, and it's from your perspective. So it's sometimes it's difficult to present yourself in a true sense, because I need, if I'm going to like work on myself and I'm going to grow and I'm going to evolve, I need to know from other mouths how I affect people.
Well, I think that's what the therapist does.
Right.
Is they point out, okay, now how do you think that affected this? Or it makes it's therapy is all about a self-reflection.
Right.
My dad had 2, and
at the same time.
Yeah, and he was like, he didn't even realize a lot of shit until he would just be going.
Yeah. And
they'd be like, stop, and he'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why I do that. Or it's all about, because when I suggested it to Kati, she was like, I've been through it. I was like, but you were a 13-year-old rebellious kid. You weren't trying to.
Yeah, it's not the same at all.
I was like, right now, I would want to go to work on me. I don't want to go to see what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want to go to couples.
Yeah.
I want to go to fix my shit.
Yeah.
Because if you fix your own shit, the other stuff should work out. If you fix your own, if I'm talking to the therapist, he'd be like, yeah, the way you talk is very condescending. Yeah. The way you, or whatever, you know what I'm like? I'm like, all right, I can work on me.
Yeah.
Then we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Everything will be fine if I'm working on me. And that's my relationships with everybody, whether it's my siblings, whether it's my friends, whatever. If you work on your own shit, you're good.
I feel like that's why I would love to do couples therapy, because I feel like I need someone else there to second or to add another layer into the dialogue. So like I'm working on myself, but like how you're like, oh, if I'm going on and on and on, and they're like, hey, check it, see, and I need somebody who right there to be like, yeah, that's what you do, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm like, you know what I mean? I can kind of see it from 2 different fronts.
I think the perfect storm is both. I think the perfect storm is going for your individual self, because there's going to be things in couples therapy that is not going to help you out with unless you do it individually. So I think the perfect storm is doing individual therapy, and if you're, like you said, if you're in a marriage or a couple, whatever, you got to do couples therapy also, because like he's right. There's a lot of times if I'm doing something and he'd be like, well, do you ever think from your brother's perspective of how this could happen? Because there's like I just I guess a small example. When I was talking about issues that I might have had like with how me and my brother were, it was just like, you understand your brother was thrusted into a parental role like at like 7. And you got to look at it from his perspective. He didn't want that. He probably had to deal with it. And he understands it now. But like at a time, there might have been some resentment there because of that. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to. I never even thought of it from that perspective. I was like, why is he treating me this way? Why is he acting this way? And it was like, oh, that makes 100% sense. You think of your father. You know, your father, him being an alcoholic and going through this. You don't know that the stuff that you told me from some of the stuff that you said from his past. This might have been the reason why he dealt with things this way. I'm like, shit, that makes sense. So it's like, it made me also realize that that's why I don't have any resentment towards any of my parents or my siblings because of that stuff.
Oh, me neither. But how does that affect your relationship with your brother?
I mean, it worked out great. Like I was able to go to him about that stuff.
Oh, and kind of reveal that to him?
Either reveal it, talk to him about it, or like I understand when he's coming, like when he's saying certain things to me, I would also not understand how to either maneuver around it or even speak to him now. So like we used to getting aggressive arguments, like physical, we be scrapping, all that stuff like that. There's no way now, even if he's like, hey nigga, you out, I'm like, oh, okay. I can receive that and be like, okay, this is where he's probably either coming from, and I'll say something, he'd be like, you know what, my bad, dog, you was right, like.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
I can honestly say the reason why I want to go so bad too is because after watching him go for all those years and seeing
all those years,
I
went like 3 years.
Nigga, I'm like, yo, 3 sessions, right? And I'm healed, right?
I went 3 years, bro.
Watching
him,
years. Watching him, who he was as a person, post and pre, like how he handles, like how shit don't really bother him no more, like how he's able to assess, like, okay, well I can see why you would like the niggas calmness, like all that. So I'm like, I would love to do that as a nigga who gets irritated off dumb shit. You know what I mean? I would love to be like, okay, well this is why they do that. Cause I'm already very mind like don't bother me, but I still be irritated. Like even if I'm over it fast, I want to. If I could eliminate the initial irritation. It's like, why does this bother me so much? Like when people do this, why am I so upset? Who gives a fuck? If they want to, why do I care?
And it's powerful
You know
when
what I mean? Like,
you figure that out. It's powerful when you see somebody either somebody about to irritate you, be like, it's not gonna work. that shit. Oh, bro, my brother tried to go off on me one time. I was sat down, just like, and I just let him go.
Can I be honest? I feel like money does that to you too. I feel
I'm
like
sure,
money calms you
yeah.
too.
Money
Like,
definitely calm you, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you just less irritated.
So don't go to therapy, guys.
You just in the world just like
Get some money.
you're just in the world just like, oh yeah, I see why you're upset.
Yeah.
But to circle back, and I gotta go pick up this.
Oh,
child.
cool.
I think wifey material is somebody who's fun, like you said, somebody who brings peace.
Yeah.
And I think more so somebody who's just willing to
Listen.
but not even listen. Just watching Cody, both of us care enough to work on ourselves and grow. That shit's sexy to me.
Yeah.
Like when she, just her acknowledging, like, I hear what you're saying, and actually what you're saying is making perfect sense. Nigga, I was ready to end the conversation. Fuck right there.
Yeah.
Like I was like, you heard me.
Yeah.
And I feel like you said listening. And when I talk to men who've been married 30, 40 years and blah blah, and when they finally a lot of them when they finally go to therapy or when they're venting, nobody ever listened to me.
Yes.
I was never heard.
Facts.
Men have been complaining about not being heard in relationships, not in the world, but in relationships since when I talk to guys, especially the older guys, I was never heard. I was never listened to. No one just really listened to me.
Yeah.
And I think if you can find a woman who will
Facts.
just listen to you, that shit is her listening to me. I'll be like, nigga, like you heard what I was saying. Like you don't have to apply it.
Yep.
You don't have to agree. But you heard me.
Yeah.
And
I
that
think-
matters.
I think a lot of that comes from them feeling attacked. So whenever you're like going off or you're saying whatever you're saying, like it's like, oh, I'm being attacked right now. So a way, just trying to disarm. It's like, hey, this is an attack.
Yeah.
I just want to, and for me, I think it's fun. The willingness to like be adventurous and experimental, and the willingness to learn. To learn.
Yeah.
And that involves growth, evolution, just wanting to learn.
Willing to. And the thing is, it's not about making changes right away.
Yeah.
But if I can see that you're willing
Yeah.
to do it, that's all I have.
And I think,
Willingness to like learn,
Yeah.
to work out,
to grow
consistently.
To do.
yeah. but what y'all saying too, I think those are the core for majority of men.
Right.
And then after that, it starts to expand to individual things
your own
that
little
you
pet
guys
peeve.
might want. I
But
might
fun,
want.
Yeah.
willing to listen, you know what I mean, and bringing peace is pretty much.
I
don't
almost.
think a lot of women realize how much they are. Like just how much I'm taking on being with you. I'm taking on a lot, and I don't.
You're
want to do that.
essentially a bill.
Yeah.
And I don't mind
Feeling a
conflict.
burden.
I don't mind conflict because, and I think from what you were saying, how Kadi doesn't want you to change or present things to you to where you feel like you have to change. I think a part of that is her wanting to be like a chill girl and being a cool girl. But that's also her internalizing all that shit too.
Right.
All these issues that she
get
has.
that
So it's like it's not about just being a chill, cool girl. Like bring it to the
Talk to
table,
me.
get it out. Yeah, talk to me, and let's have those moments. Let's have those because I think the better part of being in love is falling in love, and I think through conflict and through resolving conflict, you kind of fall in love a little more.
I do. I
Again
definitely.
and again and
Every
again.
time we argue, but then like take a step,
Yeah.
I'm never leaving. the
Yeah,
door.
Yep.
I'm
So-
never leaving.
cool.
That's it.
These bitches be on some bullshit though.
We're still rolling. Let's see where we at on. So this particular weekend, this will air Saturday. I got nothing this weekend.
As right now, when I
This
know
is
I
12th.
have nothing. I don't know. I might be out of town. I'm not sure.
So yeah, KeonPoli.com. That's it.
Yeah. KeenanBaker.com merch.
This one wasn't as funny, but I hope y'all got some,
Insight.
some
Yeah.
shit. And we'll see y'all next week.
Anal, everyone.
Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my